Hi, and welcome to Primetime with Paige. I'm Paige Lobdell, and here with me today is our returning guest from last week, Junior Gira Patel, and we have a new guest with us today. It is Senior Zoee Johnson. Both are key members to the publications class, which again puts out the Sterling High School newspaper and yearbook. Last week we talked Warrior Word, and today we will be getting the inside scoop on producing a SHS yearbook. So Gira, a yearbook is a pretty big project and a pretty big book. About how long does it take to complete?
Well, generally we start in the middle of our first quarter at the beginning of the year, and then we go all the way through summer. There's usually a few members that stay behind and work on it over the summer, but like most of the class generally works really hard to get mostly everything done during like the second semester.
So Zoe, at the beginning when you are planning out the yearbook, how do you decide what page is going to go where in the order and stuff like that?
Well, we have a ladder where we can arrange. It shows us the page numbers and stuff like that. And usually it's just kind of getting the flow right and using the ladder and stuff like that.
Now, not many people know that the SHS yearbook staff actually puts together every single page from the cover to the index. How do you design and create all those pages?
Well, our yearbook site, Jostens, some of the templates we use are given by them to us, but others we design ourselves, like where text box go, where pictures go, where like what fonts to use, where we put them. Everything else is designed by all the staff.
All right, so now if I was in a publications class and was going to work on a page, for instance, like volleyball, can you kind of take me through the process of what I would have to do in order to get that page from beginning to complete?
Sure. You start off, obviously you got to get your page, and you start with your theme, and you kind of work around that. This year, obviously we're doing the full color, so we have to know the colors that we're using, and then use the templates that Gira talked about, and then we can drag pictures and put them how we want them to where it looks nice, and then get the text boxes in the right spots, and make sure we have like really good quotes from people, and type up a good summary.
So like the information and like the captions and the quotes and all that information you have to get on your own?
Yeah, if it's your page, generally you're the person that's going and trying to finding the stuff, but if you really can't, there's usually another staff member that will be glad to help.
So with like such a big process, what is probably the hardest part about putting together a yearbook?
Well, I guess the hardest part would be that we have really slow computers. The internet's really slow because our publications class is third hour, and I don't know why. The internet's really slow. So that's just a major obstacle that we have to get over, like learning how to save like every 5 minutes, keeping our pages updated and not, getting upset when things don't save or when the internet crashes or anything like that. But generally, that's probably the hardest thing.
So how important is it to get everything to kind of match up and make sure the volleyball page looks like the tennis page and then looks like the basketball page and stuff like that?
Well, it takes a lot of editing and a lot of precision. First, us as whoever's working on the pages needs to make sure that they're identical and they fit the templates that we're supposed to, that we're required to meet. And then our editor checks them over, and then finally our advisor, Mrs. Drew, checks them. So hopefully by the end, everything's pretty much the same and identical. That's what we go for. So yeah.
Now, also, in order to have a successful yearbook, you have to get people to buy that yearbook. So what's kind of like your advertising process, and how do you get students to buy yearbooks?
Well, for our advertising process, 3 times a year we get envelopes and letters saying that we have the yearbook, what the costs are, and like the different like personalized lines and things that people can get, and we label them and send them out to the different families. And we also post things in the hallways, like big posters, little things to get people interested and let them know that the yearbook is for sale.
All right, Gira, so as we discussed last week, you are a veteran publications member. So how does this upcoming yearbook differ from ones in the past?
Well, this year we're really going for a more polished look. Rather, like before, our main idea was to get everyone in the yearbook at least once, cover all sports and clubs. But now, since we've been achieving that, I think in last year's yearbook, everyone was included at least 3 times. Since we've been meeting all those requirements in the past, our next step right now is to make it, to make it more polished, more refined, and more modern. And then another thing is that it's in all color. So that's really exciting for us.
And what has it been in the past with the color?
It was a black and white, and then just a few select pages, like senior pages. Just a few select pages would be in color, and that was we were very appreciative of that. But now that we have the entire yearbook in color, you know, we're very excited to see how it turns out and like how all of our hard work and all the color schemes that we've picked, you know, how they actually turn out to be.
So when is the big product being released to everyone?
This year's yearbook will be released next year during the homecoming assembly.
Can you give us a little sneak peek, maybe what we could expect in the yearbook coming up?
All I can say is that it's going to be more refined and polished. We can't really give anything else away, but it's going to be very colorful because there's not going to be any black and white. So that's, I think, something to really look forward to.
All right, well, we definitely are. Thank you, too, for being here with me today. Yearbooks are $55 and can be purchased on jostens.com. Thank you for joining me today on Primetime with Paige. I'm Paige Lobdell, and we'll see you next week.